noise into the lint-filled rooms. Outside, the birds sang and the blue sky shone. At the lunch half-hour, children would fall to sleep over their lunch of cornbread and fat pork. They would lie on the bare floor and sleep. Sleep was their recreation, their release, as play is to the free children. The boss would come along and shake them awake. After the lunch period, the hour in grind, the ceaseless running up and down between the whirring spindles. Babies, tiny children. Often the little ones were afraid to go home alone in the night. Then they would sleep till sunrise, on the floor. That was when the mills were running a bit slack, and the all-night worked shorter hours. I often went home with the little ones after the day's work was done, or the night shift went off duty. They were too tired to eat. With their clothes on, they dropped on the bed. To sleep, to sleep, the one happiness these children know. But they had Sundays, for the mill owners and the mill folks themselves were pious. To Sunday school went the babies, to hear how God had inspired the mill owner to come down and build the mill, so as to give his little ones work, that they might develop into industrious, patriotic citizens and earn money to give to the missionaries to convert the poor, unfortunate, heathen Chinese. My 6 children not arriving, the manager got suspicious of me, so I left Cottondale and went to Tuscaloosa, where I got work in a rope factory. This factory was run also by child labor. Here, too, were the children running up and down between spindles. The lint was heavy in the room. The machinery needed constant cleaning. The tiny, slender bodies of the little children crawled in and about under dangerous machinery, oiling and cleaning. Often their hands were crushed. A finger was snapped off. A father of 2 little girls worked a loom next to the one assigned to me. "How old are the little girls?" I asked him. "One is 6 years and 10 days," he said, pointing to a little girl, stoop-shouldered and thin-chested, who was threading a warp. "And that one," he pointed to a pair of thin legs like twigs sticking out from under a rack of spindles, "that one is 7 and 3 months." "How long do they work?" "From 6 in the evening till 6 come morning." "How much do they get?" 10 cents a night. And you?" "I get 40. In the morning I went off shift with the children. They stumbled out of the heated atmosphere of the mill, shaking with cold as they came outside. They passed on their way the long gray line of children with dinner pails coming in for the day's shift. They die of pneumonia, these little ones, bronchitis and consumption. But the birth rate, like the dividends, is large, and another hand is ready to tie the snapped threads when a child worker dies. I went from Tuscaloosa to Selma, Alabama, and got a job in a mill. I boarded with a woman who had a dear little girl of 11 years old working in the same mill with me. On Sunday, a group of mill children were going out to the woods. They came for Maggie. She was still sleeping, and her mother went to the tiny bedroom to call her. "Get up, Maggie. The children are here for you to go to the woods." "Oh, Mother," she said, "just let me sleep. That's lots more fun. I'm so tired. I just want to sleep forever." So her mother let her sleep. The next day she went as usual to the mill. That evening at 4 o'clock they brought her home and laid her tiny body on the kitchen table. She was asleep forever. Her hair had caught in the machinery and torn her scalp off. At night, after the day shift came off work, they came to look at their little companion, a solemn line of little folks with old, old faces, with thin, round shoulders, passed before the corpse, crying. They were just little children, but death to them was a familiar figure. "Oh, Maggie," they said, "we wish you'd come back. We're so sorry you got hurted." I did not join them in their wish. Maggie was so tired, and she just wanted to sleep forever. I did not stay long in one place. As soon as one showed interest in or sympathy for the children, she was suspected and laid off. Then, too, the jobs went to grown-ups that could bring children. I left Alabama for South Carolina, working in many mills. In one mill, I got a day shift job. On my way to work, I met a woman coming home from the night work. She had a tiny bundle of a baby in her arms. "How old is the baby?" "3 days. I just went back this morning. The boss was good and saved my place." "When did you leave?" "The boss was good. He left me off early the night the baby was born." "What do you do with the baby while you work?" "Oh, the boss is good, and he lets me have a little box with a pillow in it beside the loom. The baby sleeps, and when it cries, I nurse it." So this baby, like hundreds of others, listened to the whiz and whir of machinery before it came into the world. From its first weeks it heard the incessant racket raining down upon its ears like iron rain. It crawled upon the linty floor. It toddled between forests of spindles. In a few brief years it took its place in the line. It renounced childhood and childish things and became a man of 6, a wage earner, a snuff sniffer, a personage upon whose young old shoulders fortunes were built. And who is responsible for this appalling child slavery? Everyone. Alabama passed a child labor law, endeavoring to some extent to protect its children, and Northern capitalists from Massachusetts and Rhode Island defeated the law. Whenever a Southern state attempts reform, the mill owners, who are for the most part Northerners, threaten to close the mills. They reach legislatures, they send lobbies to work against the child labor reform, and money, Northern money for the most part, secures the nullification of reform laws through control of the courts. The child labor reports of the period in which I made this study put the number of children under 14 years of age working in mills as fully 25% of the workers, working for a pittance, for 8, 9, 10 hours a day, a night. And mill owners declared dividends ranging from 50% to 90%. Child labor is docile, they say. It does not strike. There are no labor troubles. Mill owners point to the lace curtains in the windows of the children's homes, to the luxuries they enjoy, so much better than they had when, as poor whites, they worked on the farms. Cheap lace curtains are to offset the labor of children. Behind those luxuries we cannot see the little souls deadened by early labor. We cannot see the lusterless eyes in the dark circle looking out upon us. The tawdry lace curtains hang between us and the future of the child, who grows up in ignorance, body and mind and soul dwarfed, diseased. I declare that their little lives are woven into the cotton goods they weave, that in the thread with which we sew our babies' clothes, the pure white confirmation dresses of our girls